your feelings to yourself. Sometimes you don't have to say something bad. Like, I know that people, get upset when I say that, but I do think a little decorum, because it's natural that his friends and families are going to be spending more time looking at social media and the internet and discovering all this and stumbling across it. And I just want you to think, if you're one of those straight up assholes who's writing something like "rest in piss" underneath his memorial, right? Like, how would you feel if someone was writing that about your dad or your mom or your brother or your sister or your son or your daughter? Like, man, we got to be better as a society. Like, the time to shit on Hulk Hogan was when he was here. But you getting online and throwing your little temper tantrum and showing your ass doesn't change anything. You're not going to change his mind. All you're going to do is just waller in that negativity, and you're going to hurt his family. You're going to hurt his friends. You're going to hurt his fans who didn't do anything wrong. And if we can forgive, everybody else for everything else in our life, we should be able to find an opportunity to forgive Hulk Hogan. I know Jesus did. I only mention that because Hulk Hogan was baptized 18 months ago. And Tony, I know you're a Christian, and hey man, if he squared everything away with the big man upstairs, who are we to judge? Yeah. This idea that Hulk Hogan's supposed to be held to a perfect standard. I've even seen terrible things written about his son. And it's like, listen guys, his son made a mistake when he was 17. The dude's like 35 now. Why are we still talking about this? Can we not give a kid an opportunity to get better and to change and to evolve and learn and grow? Like, I just wish we had a little more grace right now in 2025, Tony. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say, but Conrad, we're not. And let me tell you why. I was talking to Louis about this today. We were talking at dinner, and I said, whatever happened to that friend of yours? And I'm going to give the lady's name. She said, oh, we don't really talk much anymore. And I said, why? She said, well, our political leanings are opposite. And I said, that is what is wrong with America. The discourse that we have, because of what social media has done, has separated this country. And you're telling me that you cannot be friends with a guy? If you're a Democrat, you cannot be friends with a Republican? That's your basis for friendship? Are you out of your freaking mind that is your basis for friendship? I have a lot of friends who are on the other side of the aisle with me.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, I'm not on any side of the aisle. I'm an American. I've always been that way. I told Lois, I said, I wanted Joe Biden to succeed. I wanted Barack Obama to succeed. I want Donald Trump to succeed because I'm an American. And I'm not out there trying to undermine the President of the United States. But the discourse that we have of social media, of talk radio, and of news, cable news, has split this country, and it's never going to go back. Never. And it's terrible.
What is up with the YouTube world? It's Coffee on the vid, tapping back in, man, and that's a clip there from the What Happened When podcast. Comment if you are a regular listener, you listen to it, etc. I'm intrigued to know, is Conrad the guy that does all those pro wrestling podcasts, like 1,000,001? It's pretty wild what he's done in the content space with pro wrestling, but with Tony Schiavone, who is WCW, briefly in WWE, and currently in AEW, I believe, right? And I wanted to speak more to the second half of that clip there, what Schiavone was saying. But initially, I am intrigued to hear everyone's thoughts. It's been a little while now, couple weeks since the passing of Hulk Hogan. And you heard what Conrad and them were saying about Hogan and people reacting and such. Like, tap in with your thoughts on that. But my reaction that I wanted to share with you guys more is that political statement, what Schiavone was saying. That's something, if you've been flunking with me over here on J Coffee Talk, that I've been speaking of for the longest time, right? That with the political stuff, it seems to me people get very fanatical in a sense about it, to the point where I often reference how I've seen families split up behind this. Friends, yeah, but I mean, that's bad too. But I'm saying I've seen it go further in families, friendships, everything. And there's always this rule. It's like barroom rules, and it's good for dinner table and sometimes we try to keep like the podcast space that way if I'm doing a live or something, unless we're getting into political waters. I'm always having this saying over here like, hey, let's agree to disagree. There's a way to disagree and such, and talk about it and all that. But that whole political stuff, in a sense, I agree heavily with what Schiavone's saying there, that it's just really did a number on the US of A. And he talks about other things like social media, the media, podcasts, just all that, you know what I mean? But it just really seems like when it comes to politics, it's gotten wild. And I always share I'm not the most political dude. I do not get caught up in it like that. But I don't know, like, it's just a shame that things go that way, that people can't have like a friendship, as you heard him talking about his wife and a friend of hers. That flat out, she was like, yo, our political views vary to the point where we can't speak anymore. That's the way the interaction's gone between us. Now, I'm more with Schiavone as well, where he's like, yo, I'm not really on either side. I always say that. I'm like, yo, I don't identify with either side of the political spectrum. I just kind of feel how I feel about different issues. And to keep it real with y'all, I really honestly don't trust no politicians. You know what I mean? They be lying their arses off. It's just a big part of the game and all that. But like I was saying, man, more or less, this is just something that I've spoke about a lot when I dive into those waters or dip my toes into it, metaphorically speaking, with the content that I just hate to see that. And I personally am not here to engage in any of that. I get it. It's something people feel passionate about, but I just feel like when it comes to that political stuff, more than ever, it's like that's the number one thing for individuals that were cool, or like I said, family members, for things to go to a point of like beef and they got smoke with each other. It's always behind the political stuff nowadays, like the media, just everything has really found a way to dive into that. Some people will tell you it's a operation put into effect by the powers that be to divide the public, and it very well could be in some senses, in some ways, but I don't know how y'all feel about it. But I am interested to hear just that in the comment section below. And in the clip as a whole, 2 other parts, let's discuss it all. If you're new over here, do me them solid, hit all those buttons for me, but more importantly, join the discussion in the comments, and we talk about it all over here if you're new as well. A little bit of everything: sports, a little bit of politics, news stories, crime stories, pro wrestling, NFL. Like, we talk about everything and anything, a bit too much actually is what I've come to know, but that's still how I rock on this channel. So thank you for tuning in. Let's discuss it all. And is there anyone out there too that's actually happened with, that things got like that between you and a close friend or family member, and you actually at some point was like, man, this is a shame, like I hate that it's like this, But yeah, let's talk about it. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe. I'm gone.